Okay, Paul, this question is from Ann on Twitter. Does her pacemaker data say what time she was awoken from sleep and perhaps if she was in a fight or flight situation due to being attacked?
Yeah, that's a good question. So my understanding of this, and it gets technical, I'm no pacemaker expert, God knows, and this is one of those things where you miss being a cop, because if you have the authority of working on the case, you know, you can call somebody, you call the company and get a definitive answer. This came up in the Gene Hackman case when there was a question about that actor's time of death. He had a pacemaker, and we were trying to ascertain if he had died at a certain hour, would the pacemaker have stopped as well? The answer to that is no. Pacemaker continues to pulse. Now, there are older pacemakers that don't link to an app, and I don't think, obviously, they're not going to capture the kind of detail you're talking about. But the modern ones are apparently more sophisticated. And being linked to an app gives you the ability for them to sense, from what I understand, changes in your heart rhythm. That's what a pacemaker does. So I'm going to say that under my limited knowledge, there's a good chance of that. And what that would give you is a much more definitive time as to when he did whatever he did, as opposed to just when he entered the house. Because remember, there's a 41-minute wiggle room there.
Josh, what do you think?
Yeah, and if it is true that that data exists, we're not going to learn about it until this thing heads to trial, if it ever does one day, because this is not information that they're going to release to the public. And that's important to understand too. As much as we want information from investigators, there's just some things that are not important for the public to know right now. This is not going to, whether or not she was in a heightened state of agitation, you know, during a certain period that evening, is not helpful for all of us trying to track down who did this. But it could be crucial evidence at a trial. Later on, if they're trying to prove, you know, what this guy was up to, what he intended that evening, what she went through that evening, all could be incredibly powerful evidence. You imagine that being presented at a trial and you're trying to describe the last moments before she was abducted, or even worse, and you're able to actually present medical evidence of what her heart was going through. I can't imagine how impactful that would be with a jury.